Hello, and welcome to the Mommy Escape Time podcast. I am Lauren, your host, and I have a 1-year-old son. I started this podcast for any mother who might feel alone in their journey through motherhood. Becoming a mom is hard no matter how you get there, and this podcast is about the mom stuff that comes up in our lives. Listen, enjoy, and connect with us on the Mommy Escape Time podcast. Hello, and welcome to the Mommy Escape Time podcast. It is the last day of 2020 when this recording goes out. I'm sure so many of us just want this year to be over. I had originally planned to do a podcast of like the best of 2020, but I feel like we don't have to always be positive, and it's not like I'm going to do like the worst of 2020 episode or anything like that, but I'm just going to do a typical like 5-topic show. So that's what I'm going to do today. So I am Lauren, I am your host, and it's just me, and it's going to be just me for probably pretty much a while. I talked about it a few times, but it's very hard for me to do guests on the podcast right now because 1, no one can come into my house, and 2, because it's just very complicated to do it online with people. I've been at school, and I'll talk a little bit about, I guess I can just dive right in, but I've been having some major neck and back pain, and neck, shoulder, and back pain, like crippling I've tried so many different things this year, and the solution is to not be on the computer. So it's great when you teach and you have to be on the computer from 7 a.m. until 3 o'clock every day, and there is no way around that. I have tried standing desks. I have tried different things. I've been off of school for 6 days, and my neck and shoulders feel fine. I don't go on the computer. No, I won't say I don't ever go on the computer. I have been on the computer at very specific times, but I have not needed my glasses, which at school I need my glasses 100% of the time because that's the only thing that takes the pressure off my eyes from looking at the screen. I have those blue light things on my screens at school. I have so many things, and it doesn't matter. It's just too much screen time for me, and I am trying to figure out how to do a little more teaching that's not screen time reliant, but I have a lot of remote students this year. And in my mind, I thought that kids would be coming back in January, like a lot of the kids that I have that are fully remote, but that is not the case. They are not coming back. It does not look like it will be like that for a while. I'm hopeful with the new vaccine that things by this summer will get back to normal, but I am always cautiously optimistic because I feel like we have been promised so many things for so long. In April, it will be a year since I have worn a mask. And I know that no matter what, that will be true in Connecticut. I don't know after April if that will still be true in Connecticut. It seems very unclear, but we know that at least through the end of April that in any public indoor space you will be wearing a mask. So I know that for at least 1 full year I will have been wearing a mask. And granted, back in April, May, and June of last year I hardly left the house, so that didn't really affect me, but we had to wear masks when we were outside in July and August and September up in Connecticut. So it was rough some days. So, but my neck and shoulders have been like a ridiculous thing that has happened to me. I've had to buy like my own like personal massager for my shoulders and neck, and I've had to work at it so much that I have literally burned off flesh because I've been pressing so hard. Like I press with it on, and I have the heat component on to try and loosen it up and then go to the chiropractor so she can help loosen my neck. The physical therapist said that they could not help me yet. That I was so tight that I had to get it loosened up first before they could do anything. They gave me a few exercises and I've been doing that, but I have had zero migraines since I have been home, not working. And before this, I've had a migraine every single day. I've had to take my migraine medicine. Today, I'm actually going to the eye doctor for an eye checkup, and I'm sure he's going to go nuts when he hears that I've had a migraine every day. So I'm a little nervous about what's going to happen there. But, you know, one step at a time. I feel good now, and I think that's what I needed was this like longer bit of a break so that I can start managing this pain and like I'm holding my posture differently. I'm working at it a lot more, and I'm finding that I really don't care what's going on social media at all. I'm really trying to do more with social media for this podcast, but I just don't care. Like I don't. I'm happy that there are people out there that are. Sharing their lives and things like that. And every so often, like I'll look at things. But I was listening to someone who says that at the end of every year, they delete all their contacts or everyone that they follow on all their social media. And that as the year goes by, they will start following people again who they want to follow. So that they're not just following people to follow them. I have that situation too. I think I deleted like 50 people off Facebook, and Twitter I just like demolished. I got down to like 20 or 30 people. But I don't really go on Twitter that much. I use Twitter for very specific reasons. Instagram I didn't do on my mommy escape time. I didn't do anything on that. I didn't touch that because there are very few people that I like interact with consistently, and then everyone else I just sort of leave there because I don't want them. I feel like when you're in a business it's a little different than to not follow people as opposed to um, my personal account. And I think my personal account for Instagram I got down a great deal too. I'm trying to look it up, of course, now how many people I follow. I'm down to 132. I'd like that to get down to less. Because there's so many people on there that like it's like okay, or I'm like okay, I'll get rid of them at this point, or I'll get rid of them at that point. But there's so many people that I just like flip through and I don't really follow as much. So I'm like, why do I even bother with all of that? Okay, so that's it. I also listened to my intro. Ugh, I can't believe I've been using this for so long. My son is not one. He's two. He's 2.5 actually right now. So hopefully in 2021, my goal is to do a new intro that maybe doesn't exactly say my son's name. I'm just going to say like he's a toddler and leave it at that. But I will definitely be having some guests on. I've been talking to a few people. Um, I have friends that are not teachers that are willing to come onto the podcast and talk about some stuff, just random stuff, because this is just meant to be light and fun and just, especially in this time of, we're all, I live in New England, so a lot of times we're stuck inside and we can't go outside. So this is like my time to, you know, connect and talk to people. And if you do message me on Instagram, I will connect back with you and I do talk back to people. So it's not just like a one-way conversation. It's just I'm not very good at posting because I don't like pictures. I don't really care. I could try and engage on Facebook, but not a lot of people follow me on Facebook. So I don't know if that's even reasonable to assume, but I'm going to try and get better about posting and showing and everything like that. So we'll see. I'm not really trying to put too much pressure on myself because I'm working on getting myself back together. So one of the things that I have been doing over the break is I used to take a walk every single day. And if you've listened from the beginning, I used to walk 9 miles a day. When I was pregnant, I probably walked like 6 miles a day. And then once I had my son, I would say probably 2 months after I had my son, I was back to walking at least like 3 or 4 miles a day, some days 6 miles a day. So I really enjoy walking. It's like my favorite thing to do. But my son's at this weird age where he like doesn't really go in a stroller for a long walk anymore. So that's not really the case. I can't really use that time like I used to. Like I used to be like, okay, it's 10 o'clock in the morning. Let's go. We're going to go for our walk. But that's not, my son now needs to run around, and that's my sanity for him to run around and not sit for an hour because he needs all the movement he can get today. Although today I was sort of a slightly bad mother because I took him out and I we went to the playground, and it's pretty cold. We live in a town that's like on, it has a very high elevation. So when we go out, we're at the very top of a hill or a mountain, I guess you would say. And so it's windy here a lot. And it was windy today, and it was snowing. Not accumulation snow, just it's so freaking cold. It's snowing outside. Um, so it wasn't like sticking to the ground. It's not that kind of snow. If you don't know the different types of snow, it's so hard to explain, but it was just not the kind of snow that was going to stick. So he and I played outside, and his cheeks were just getting so red, but he like really doesn't want to go. He always wants to play, play, play. So I guess we were probably outside for like an hour, and then we got in the car, and then the whole ride home he was complaining about his face and how his face hurt, probably because it was defrosting and his fingers were still cold, even though he had gloves on. It's just impossible with kids in gloves and being outside. So but we really like to get outside. I love taking him outside. He just loves being outside. And we had snow a few weeks ago, and he really enjoyed playing in the snow. And we played in the snow. Even Christmas Eve day, we played in the snow. And it was great because it was like 50 out, and there was still snow, and we could go sledding, and we could make a snowman and all that stuff. And then all the snow went away Christmas Eve night and into Christmas Day because we had a horrific rainstorm with super high winds, and we were both basically told, like, you will not have power on Christmas morning. We were very lucky that we did, but there were lots of people in our state and Connecticut and Massachusetts that did not have power on Christmas morning, and I think that would be so hard. Like I had a whole plan of like, okay, we have gas burners, so I could still cook on that. And then we have these special lights, and we could close off our living room with turning on the gas fireplace. Like we have our house so that like we can survive in the winter if we lose power, but not really in the summer. And I figured that, if we went 5 days this past summer with no power, that somehow we were better off, that maybe this time we wouldn't be as bad. So we were very lucky we did not lose power. And I would say that this Christmas morning was probably one of my favorite. I mean, it's definitely my favorite. Probably my favorite so far, because it was like the first time that my son understood, and he kept talking about Santa, and Santa was coming that night. And then Santa brought him a gift, which was a kitchen play set, which he absolutely loves. My husband and I don't believe in getting a lot of toys for my son because I feel like he has so many. And actually, like, our neighbors brought gifts for my son, which was like amazing. And obviously my mom and my mother-in-law brought gifts, and his aunts and uncles got him gifts. So sometimes it like really piles up the amount of gifts. So my husband and I each get him a gift, and then sometimes we also get a joint gift. This year we didn't. We just each got him a gift, and then Santa brings him one gift and all the stuff for his stocking. So I mean, my son has enjoyed every single thing that he got. We didn't finish opening up all the presents on Christmas because we got through, I would say, 2/3 of the gifts, but we started at 8 or 7, We took a break for breakfast, but so we started at 7, and at 11 my son was still opening up gifts, and he was like exhausted from opening up gifts. He was so tired from he just like wanted to play with things, and he would open something and want to play with it and then not move on, and that was fine. Like I don't that's why we don't want to give a lot of gifts, because then it takes forever. Um we did After his nap, we did a few more gifts, and then the next day, the 26th and the 27th, we did gifts on those days. It was just 2 gifts each of those days, but still, I mean, when you think about it, if you're still doing gifts 2 days later, it's probably plenty. And I don't want to say like he got like a lot of things. It's just everything he got he really really liked, and that's what we're trying to do, is get him those quality gifts that he wants to play with, and that he has then different things to kind of play with as we go along. So before Christmas, I was like cleaning out some of his toys and just putting them like in our storage area in our basement, just to get them out of the way and to make room for his new gifts. And then a few of the things I think are just too old for him. So I just want to wait and see how he does with the gifts that he has now. And then I can always pull out those other gifts. But if not, then I also can just start donating those gifts. I have been really trying to like donate things to people, and no one has ever wanted our stuff. We have tried so many times to donate things, and no one will take anything. We're going to try our daycare, because I just like I need this stuff out of my house. Like we don't need it anymore. And I want to give it to someone in need, but none of the shelters around us will take any of our stuff, so I can't donate any of that stuff to anyone. It's just like, and I want to like put it on Facebook and just be like, it's on our front lawn, please come take it. But again, I don't know if anyone will take it, and then it's outside in the elements, and then giving it to someone that we know. I mean, it gets so complicated. Everything is so complicated now with giving things away. We actually gave away 3 boxes of stuff also before Christmas, because I wanted to get rid of some of his toys to begin with. My husband has a very tough time letting go of things. Like if my son has touched it in the last year, he's like, oh, well, he's still playing with it. And I'm like, okay, but he doesn't need 5 bajillion toys. That's why he goes from toy to toy to toy, because he has too many options. And so I'm just trying to rotate that out, and just do some more rotations of the toys, so he's not always doing the same thing over and over again. So the big thing that I didn't really like get anything for Christmas, but I got what my husband and I did is we went out. My mom watched our child, so my husband and I could actually go out and do something. And we were at Crate and Barrel, and we saw these food containers, which probably sounds super boring, but I really liked them. And it's like a ceramic bowl with a top. It's called L&P Stores. Yeah, L&P store. And it's like a ceramic bowl, which is a color, or a Porter store, I should say. It's a Porter ceramic bowl. And it comes with a top. It's silicone free, obviously, and BPA free, but it's, a ceramic bowl for your salad. And it's just, I always try and use these glass containers, and like for salad, it's just not the right thing to do. I always want a bowl, and I always want to like shake it up with the dressing on, and that's not one of the options. So this thing, it's very expensive, but I figure, if it's my gift, that's what I get. And then they also had like a soup container that's glass, that is wrapped in silicone for the part of it. So I'm very excited for that, because in January a I do soups for lunch, soups and salad. So these 2 containers I'll definitely use, and I definitely can use. I feel like the salad container. I know that's so silly. The salad container will make me want to bring salads to school, but it will. With like chicken on top and everything like that. So, I mean, that's my biggest downfall, is that I just don't Like my salads are, hey, I bought this bag of lettuce. Great. And I brought some dressing in a little container, and there you go. I'm all set. So I think this will maybe inspire me a little more to have a better lunch situation. I really struggled right at the end of my break with food and everything like that. And that brings me to my last thing. The last 2 years, I have done this thing, and it's called the 40-day sugar fast. And the first year I did it, I was like all in, and I did it to a T, and it was awesome. Last year, I think I made it like 14 days, and I think I put too much pressure on myself to do everything. I think a lot of what's part of the 40-day sugar fast is it's you'd have to make your own food to follow the rules to a T. Really, what I need to do is just not have sugar, meaning like I get the desserts, get the drinks to stop, and that's it. Although I would say I drink way less soda and sugary drinks than I did before. um, Now I have a unsweetened iced tea, and I'm very happy with that. So, I mean, at least I have a good alternative. But my biggest thing is that I'm going to try to have no added sugars and things, which I can't even think of things that I like. Salad dressing would be the big thing where they add sugar, and pasta sauce, and those are two things that I have since I did my first sugar fast. I don't use. I make all my own dressings and my own sauce. Sorry, totally forgot what that word was for a second. Um, so, I mean, those are my two big things. I won't have anything that has high fructose corn syrup in it, which actually there are a bunch of things that have it that you wouldn't realize. Those are my two big things, is that I'm going to just try and do that, because it's very hard for me because I have to cook for my son. I have to make his lunch. My lunch is easy because I'm going to prep all my soups. I'm just going to make them all on Saturday and Sunday, and then they'll just be done for the month. So then I just have to pull them out each week. But I think that where I've gotten hung up is like doing too much. Like there is a book that goes along with it. I have to preface this that says I did this 40-day sugar fast because I have done so many things, and so many things have not worked. And back in 2016, I had decided that I was going to stop drinking. And it came about because I had a very hard school year that I was having, and I found that I was every night saying I needed to have a drink with dinner. And previous to that, I hadn't done that. I actually didn't drink if I had school the next day. I would only have a drink on the weekends, and it would be a drink, like a glass of wine. Not even a drink, a glass of wine, and that's it. And then I found myself buying little bottles of wine, and I would have one of those little bottles every single night. And I was like, oh my gosh. I'm like, this is not healthy. I'm like, and I don't want to go down this track. But when I stopped drinking wine, I think I started to turn to sugar instead. So I kind of slowed down on that once I became pregnant in 2017, but that wasn't until the summer. Um, and then once when I was pregnant, I hardly had like sweets that much. And also, I wasn't eating for the first 20 weeks. So they didn't really care what the heck I put in my body. They just wanted food and calories in my body. And then after my pregnancy, I pretty much ate healthy until I broke my leg. And that was 3 months after I had my son. So the end of 2018 was really bad. And I knew a friend of mine had posted something about this sugar fast. And I was like, okay, nothing has worked in the past. I need to try something new. I need to like refocus my life. I will say there's a book that goes along with it called The 40-Day Sugar Fast by Wendy Speak. And she's the woman that runs it. And she is very religious, and speaking the gospel is her way of life, and Bible verses are her life. That is not my life. But I do find the focus of where to focus your time and energy and how to refocus to get away from things that aren't important and to think about yourself and like, why are you reaching for the sugar? What's happening? Why are you doing it? Okay, you're stopping. And it's not saying that you will never have sugar again. It's literally saying for 40 days you're not going to do it. And guess what happens if you can't do it? Nothing. You just don't do it. Um, so I think that going into it this year, I just kind of have that plan of that, okay, I'm going to do the best I can. I'm not going to have sugary treats, and I'm not going to have soda, and I'm not going to have juices or Gatorade or anything like that. I'm just going to go and have healthy foods, and that's it. And I think that is, and I will journal about it every day, and I will try and read the book at like each chapter a day. It's like 2 or 3 pages. If I can't get to the reading that day, I'm not gonna beat myself up. I think I can manage to journal every day. I'm not sure. But I mean, again, I'm just going to do what I can. I think I put a lot of pressure on myself to like follow the rules to a T because I'm a rule follower. And so if I make it in a manageable section, I think that that's important. I do suggest that if it's your thing and it's been an issue in the past, it doesn't start till January 4th, and there's an online community that you can join and everything like that. I think it's just important that we take kind of that step back, and your health is important, and we're in the middle of a pandemic, or hopefully we're in the lower swing of the pandemic, but I don't know. It's hard to tell some days. And I think it's just so important to think about how what you put in your body is going to change your health. And I have a child. I want to be here for a long time. I want to be here for everything he does. And I want to stay as healthy as possible because I just I don't want to miss out on anything in his life that I don't need to. So I'm trying to be as healthy as possible. December is always the worst month for me. Um, but I'm just going to try going forward to do the best I can and improve a little bit. So that's pretty much our show today. So if you want to join the 40-day sugar fast, please go ahead and do that. And I will. I do try and end my show with one thing that I like about my son or am enjoying about my son recently. And did not think about this ahead of time. I like how much he enjoyed Christmas this year. It has been such a joy just to see it through his eyes and what he gets from what he hears and what he understands and how much he likes the story of the Grinch. That has all been so fantastic. So I'm very glad for that. Going forward, I am going to continue to have the podcast every other week. I wish I could say that I could do it every week. It's just not manageable right now. I think if we ever go to not having to have online classes, I can start doing it more often, and maybe this summer I will. But as of right now, it's still going to continue every other week until I'm not on the computer every single day. So I hope you all have a great week, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.